On the eastern side of the island, in the Money Pit area, the team, following the collapse of their first caisson target, TB1, anxiously monitored the excavation of their next target, AC1. There, a potentially important discovery had been made some 100 feet underground. As the excavation continued, excitement grew at the sight of a significant amount of wood. One of them observed that they had hit the jackpot with timber, and another confirmed that it certainly looked like old timber. It was clear they were hitting something substantial. At 96 feet deep, the dig revealed what appeared to be a busted-through tunnel. A possible tunnel located nearly 100 feet deep. That was impressive and very unexpected. The team had not anticipated encountering man-made workings until reaching the mysterious cave much deeper, at a depth of 145 feet. As more timber was unearthed, two critical questions arose: had they stumbled upon a structure built by previous searches? Or was this a tunnel built by someone who had once buried treasure deep in the Money Pit area? The wood appeared hand-hewn, with no iron fasteners, which was interesting and suggested an older method of construction. No one present could identify exactly what tunnel it might be. Given the characteristics of the wood, there was a strong possibility that it was extremely old. Could it be that the team had intercepted a tunnel constructed long ago to hide something of great value? And if so, might it somehow be connected to the mysterious so-called Aladdin's Cave? As the digging continued, even more wood was uncovered. A gut feeling began to settle in: this was some kind of old tunnel. Sometimes, instinct has to be trusted, and their collective instinct was hungry for treasure. Perhaps that treasure lay somewhere around this very tunnel. The excitement among the crew was palpable, especially as this would suggested a previously unknown tunnel, which could be critically important. As one of their experts once said, treasure won't materialize in solid soil, there has to be a structure associated with it. Later, near the wash table, one of the team members brought over a spike that had come out of the spoils. It was a beautiful artifact. The head of the spike stood out thick and old. One guessed it could date to the 1600s, maybe even older. It was an exciting find, bloody gorgeous, even. No one expected something like that to emerge from the tunnel spoils, especially since the tunnel wood hadn't included any fasteners. This spike must have originated from something else. There was speculation: could it have once been embedded in the side or lid of a chest? The idea was more than plausible. Could this spike not only date back to the 17th century or earlier, but also be related to a container, possibly one that once held treasure? If that were true, what else might be discovered at the bottom of Aladdin's Cave? The following morning, it was noted that in AC1, between 90 and 110 feet deep, a spike had been recovered. In the war room, the team convened again to meet with the metallurgical expert who had prepared a scientific report on the iron spike found the day prior inside a mysterious tunnel. The report began with results from X-rays and CT scans of the nail, showing a wood-like grain structure consistent with wrought iron. Various striking angles on the head indicated that it was a rose head. The cross-section was square, evidence that it was hand-forged, not machine-cut. The composition of the metal was minimal, but the high sulfur and phosphorus content indicated a likely English origin. Furthermore, potassium content was consistent with a charcoal-fueled furnace rather than coal. All these factors combined gave the artifact a most recent date of mid-1700s and possibly even earlier. The findings were met with amazement. Further insights were shared, referencing data from an Old English metal detectorist. There was some skepticism about how reliable that data might be, but the spike itself seemed to confirm their hopes. Though the scientific report placed it around the 1750s, there was strong belief it could easily be earlier. Thick, chunky spikes with big rose heads were known to appear throughout Europe in old cabinets, doors, and chests. The design matched typical 1600 spikes, and this one could very well have come from a treasure chest. The excitement only grew. This spike could be a critical clue, perhaps pointing to an early recovery after, or, even more exciting, the original deposit. The time frame fit well with several established theories. One possibility stood out: the presence of Sir William Phips, The mention of the 1600s fit that timeline exactly. There had already been an incredible amount of hard-to-refute evidence suggesting that Sir William Phips had a presence within the round feature on Lot 5. People associated with Lot 5 may have been living on the island, possibly during the original construction of the money pit. Now, there may be evidence that William Phips himself deposited treasure on Oak Island, specifically within the money pit, back in 1687, under the direction of the English crown. Captain William Phips located the famed wreck of the Concepcion, a Spanish treasure galleon that had sunk off the coast of what is now the Dominican Republic in 1641. On board were an estimated 100 tons of Spanish silver, gold, and jewels. Phips successfully recovered 34 tons of silver and was knighted for his efforts, later ordered to return and retrieve the remaining valuables. However, during the second salvage operation, accompanied by his assistant Andrew Belcher, a high-ranking Freemason, they reported that locals had looted the site and that they had only recovered an additional 5 tons of treasure. But then, a compelling new discovery emerged. A letter from 1688 revealed that Captain Andrew Belcher had been caught with one of Phips's ships in the Mahon Bay area the same time period in which Phips returned from the second expedition, allegedly with only minimal treasure. According to the research of 32nd-degree Freemason Scott Clark, Sir William Phips and Captain Andrew Belcher may have buried the missing Spanish treasure on Oak Island. They are believed to have done so using their knowledge of a vault that had already been created centuries earlier by the Knights Templar in the Money Pit area. If true, the spike recently recovered in Shaft AC1 along with the tools and bricks found on Lot 5 not only supports the idea that multiple treasures could be buried in the money pit, but also suggests something extraordinary might lie within the so-called Aladdin's cave. This theory aligns well with the Phips narrative. If the spike indeed dates to the 1600s, then it fits many puzzle pieces. But beyond any theory, the most significant takeaway is that the spike indicates human activity deep within the money pit prior to its so-called discovery in the 1700s. That is the most critical revelation. The treasure may still lie below, inside the cave layered with mystery, intrigue, and hidden history. This entire journey is shaping into something extraordinary, a beautiful blend of legend, adventure, and treasure hunting. Now, the team finds themselves at the precipice of possibly opening the door to Aladdin's cave. There is genuine hope around the table, shared among all present, that they are on the edge of discovering something monumental, and together, they are determined to do the best job possible in uncovering and retrieving whatever may lie within. The time has come to press forward. Open sesame, it's time to get out there and find it.